Hello and welcome to this 60-minute yoga practice. Our focus is we're tuning or tapping into the element of air, and this is otherwise known as vayu in Sanskrit. So the element of air and the properties around this are, well, the areas that we'll focus on, let's say the physical focus, will be the breath to begin with and all the way through, the heart space and the lungs. And also thinking about circulation as well, because obviously thinking about how air circulates. So again, tapping into an element as our sort of background intention. So we'll begin with some alternate nostril breathing to tap into the breath to begin with. And then we have a really simple and effective flow where we'll be weaving in that feeling of the air element. And the words I would weave in with that are movement, expansion, circulation, so a feeling of things moving and shifting perhaps, and a sense of expansion and freedom. So those are the kind of values that we're bringing into the practice and what we'll be noticing this evening. So alternate nostril breath, we can either be seated like this, just cross-legged, and we'll start with the left hip. So left shin in front of the right is how we'll begin. And if you want to get a little deeper into the left hip, then you could try for a half lotus. So that's when you're tucking the right heel right in and then lifting the left foot and placing it on top of the right thigh. So see how that feels. Sometimes it helps to prop yourself up on something to kind of tilt the pelvis forwards. So half lotus is the option. Otherwise, cross-legged with the left shin in front of the right. And beginning here just by bringing your attention inwards, closing the eyes if that works for you, or perhaps just softening your gaze onto one spot. And taking 3 cleansing breaths just to land here in the space from wherever you've come from, whatever was happening before this practice. Taking a really slow, steady breath in through the nose and sighing out through the mouth. Starting to think about that air element as you take the breath in, taking that oxygen, that life force. And then long breath out through the mouth. Another deep breath in, all the way to the top, and then sigh it out. And taking your left hand, let's take the first 2 fingers and lightly touch them between the brows, so the third eye here. Using the thumb for the left nostril, the ring finger for the right. And we'll close the mouth for this alternate nostril breathing. Closing the left nostril to begin. Feel down through your sit bones where you're making connection with the ground, and take a deep breath in through the right nostril. Make that breath long and slow, all the way to the top. Lifting chest bone as you breathe in. And then close the right nostril, hold the breath there for just a moment. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly breathe out down through the left. And then we'll do that again. Close left nostril, breathe in slowly through the right, lifting chest bone upwards slightly as you breathe in. Hold the breath at the top for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close right nostril and exhale out through the left, all the way down, 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 down. Feel the ground as you breathe out. And then one more round of that, closing left nostril, slow breath in through the right. all the way to the top. And then hold there. Linger there. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then open the left nostril, breathe out. All the way to the bottom of the breath. Releasing the hand for a moment, take a deep breath in through both nostrils. And open your mouth and sigh out. And we'll swap the legs to come to the right side. So cross-legged, right shin in front of the left this time. Or you could take more of a half lotus. So tucking the left heel closer in and then lift the right foot and rest it on top of the left thigh. So that's the option. Using the right hand, first 2 fingers lightly touching between the brows. And we'll use the thumb and the ring finger. Close off the right nostril and take a deep, long, slow breath through the left, all the way to the top. Lift chest bone away from pubic bone as you reach the top of the breath, and then hold there for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close left nostril, breathe out through the right. All the way to the bottom of the breath. Notice the ground. And second round, close off the right nostril, slow, steady breath in through the left, all the way to the top. Lift chest bone up, and then hold there. See if you can relax around the thighs and the shoulders as we breathe out. 5, 4, 3, hold 2, 1, and then close left nostril, breathe out through the right. All the way to the bottom of the breath. Third round, close off the right nostril, slow, steady breath in through the left. Holding at the top. Have a squeeze of your sit bones inwards, so feel this slight lift of your pelvic floor. Holding here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Close left nostril, breathe out, release the squeeze of the sit bones, breathe out, feel the connection to the ground. All the way to the bottom. And rest the hand back down. Take a slow, steady breath in through both nostrils. And sighing out through the mouth. And let's do that one more time. Really notice the inside of your nostrils as the air meets the skin. It circulates all the way down to your lungs and then back out. Really nice. And then unwrapping from here. So if you're in the lotus, help the foot back off. Unwrap the cross of the legs. Just hug the knees in for a moment. So on the soles of the feet, wrapping the arms around your shins. And we'll take a deep breath in, lift chest bone upwards. And as you breathe out, lower the forehead down. And then start to breathe through the back of, notice how the breath moves the shoulders and the space around the shoulder blades. So awareness around the lungs and the back of the lungs as you breathe. And the more that you inflate your belly as you breathe, the more space for the diaphragm to move downwards, the more air gets into the lower lobes of your lungs. And you might visualize if my hands were resting at the back of your ribs and I asked you to take a deep breath in, you'd be expanding your ribs into my hands. On an inhale, slowly lifting the head up, and then we'll come round into tabletop. So make your way onto all fours, using some padding for your knees if you've got padding to hand. And coming onto all fours, really focusing on our foundations for this practice, because when we think about the air element, the balance that we need for lots of air is earth, so that we don't get literally carried away. So we need to anchor ourselves, the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. And we'll move through some gentle cat-cows. So breathing in, let the breath lead, and then the movement, arching the back, lifting the chin. Start to breathe out, and then rounding chin to chest. And breathe like that and move like that through these cat-cows. Noticing the quality of the inhale, like you're filling up in some way, revitalizing in some way, and then the exhales maybe feel like a cleansing, a releasing. Keep moving to drop the belly as you inhale, and round and curl the spine on the exhale. Moving at your own pace with the breath. And feeling the parts of your body that are in relationship with the ground, the palms of your hands. So as you round, you could press the ground away. And as you arch, really feel the shins and the tops of the feet as they make contact. 3 more cat-cows in your own time. And coming back to a neutral spine. And for a moment, we'll sit back on the shins for bird wing. So we start to kind of get this awareness around the chest and the back of the heart. Now, bird wing can be done seated on your shins, but if that's a bit much on your knees, because you do get quite a lot of compression in the knees there, you can do bird wing like this so that you're up on the shins, bringing the upper arms to connect with your ribs. So close the gap there. Palms of the hands facing up. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, it's a slow movement, but very, very mindful. So we're taking them out to the side, taking the hands out to the side, and get a squeeze of the shoulder blades. So feel the back muscles activate. Breathe in to feel them release and make space between your shoulder blades. Hands come to center. And breathe out as you take the hands out to the side. Feel your shoulder blades come inwards, and breathe in to bring the hands back to center. Breathe out to open the hands out. And feel your back muscles connecting here. And inhale. The hands come back to center, maybe feeling that stretch across the back. 1 more, inhale and open the hands out. And then back to center, and the hands come back. Releasing, and we'll move into downward facing dog. And again, really thinking about foundations. So it's almost like before we kind of tune in with the air and get carried away, we find the ground. So spread the fingers really wide, like really pay attention to your hands. Spread the thumb away from the index finger. So you're making a bigger gap there. Index finger facing forwards And then tuck your toes and send the hips up. So these little details may be making big differences. Bending in one knee and then the other, just pedaling here. Noticing the whole of the back of your body, all the way from the heels, Achilles, calf muscles, behind the knees and the big ligaments behind the knees, running up the back of your thighs, hamstrings, into the glutes, and all the muscles around the hips, the lower back, lower lumbar spine. And rest your awareness at the lower back. Find some stillness, take a little bend in the knees, and take a deep breath in, fill side ribs. And as you breathe out, press the ground away so your chest bone is starting to come towards your thighs. And here we find this decompression in the lower lumbar spine. Those first 5 discs at the bottom. Breathe your intention into that space. One more deep breath. And let it out through the mouth. And on an inhale, look forwards. Make your way to the top of the mat. Maybe it's little baby steps. Maybe it's one big step, followed by another. And come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Still have lots of bend in the knees. Allow upper body to hang heavy. Head and neck relaxed down. Keep the air circulating as you're kind of consciously influencing your breath in the practice. Placing an intention behind the breath of generosity, of expansion perhaps. With the breath helping us to shift any kind of stagnation that we might feel. Be as vocal as you like if you're releasing through the mouth. And then we'll roll up the spine, so feet right underneath your hips, so you've got this steadiness from the ground up. We're anchored and we roll up the spine. The head coming up last. Take some shoulder rolls from front to back. And back to front. And then we'll have a little release in the neck. So we'll make some space in the neck here. So with their hands slightly behind you, take the right hand, so bend at the elbow, take the right hand and reach across to take hold of your left arm. And breathe in to lift chest bone up. Breathe out to drop the right ear to right shoulder. So space, left side of the neck, down the shoulder, down the top of the arm. But also breathe into the heart space here. And then slowly on an inhale, bring the head back up to the center, and then we'll take it to the other side. So drop the right hand, right arm, and take the left arm across to reach for the right arm. Breathe in to lift chest bone. And breathe out, left ear, left shoulder. And maybe you notice a difference one side to the other. Maybe there's more or less space on this side. Just notice that. Soften around the face and the mouth. Relax the tongue. And just bring that breath in, feel the chest expand, the ribs expand, the belly fill up. And then that long emptying out. And slowly on your next inhale, bring the head back to the center and release the right arm. Take a little shake of the hands. I'm going to move through some very slow sun salutations this evening, really for the warm-up. So using those lunges and using the breath to really create space in the body. So on an inhale, if you've got the space, take up loads of space with your arms, making a big circle. And on your exhale, take them the other way. Big circle as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands could reach for the shins as you find a flat back. And exhale, high plank. So the hands could come down, the legs go back. And I offer you this modification this evening of dropping the knees down. And then taking your high to low plank in a slightly different way. So we feel the body as it comes down bit by bit. So start to lower the thighs down first and the hips. And then you'll feel your chest rise. And the elbow, the arms start to bend as you lower the belly down. Then the ribs, then the chest. Breathing into a low cobra, a little baby cobra here. Just lift chest bone, use back muscles. Maybe hovering the hands just to really feel the back working. Find the ground with the hands and move back through the knees. We could take a little stretch back here. You could take puppy pose with the hips over the knees and stretching the arms forwards, lowering chest bone down, or child's pose with the knees really wide apart. So we're not putting too much pressure in the knees. So your choice. Child's pose or puppy pose for a moment there. Breathing in, noticing the ribs and the expansion around that structure as you breathe. Let the air circulate through you. Making your way up into downward facing dog. Pay attention to the hands. Spread thumb away from index finger and send the hips up. Making any movements. Maybe you're twisting your hips to one side and feeling down the sides of your body. And then finding stillness, pressing the hands so that the chest bone comes towards your thighs. A nice deep breath in and a breath out through the mouth. On an inhale, looking forwards, little baby steps to the top, or maybe one big step, followed by another halfway lift on your in-breath, finding a flat back and a forward fold on your out-breath. Inhale to rise, taking up all the space, almost like you're gathering something up, bringing it between the hands at the top to prayer, and then take whatever you gathered and bring that down to your heart. Having a little pause there. And then we'll continue to move. Breathing in, lift the arms up and press the feet down. And exhale as you forward fold. This time lunge, we step left foot back behind you and lower the left knee down. Finding some padding for your knee so you're comfortable in your practice and supported. Breathing in to come up, lunge. We are going to flow a little more this evening because we've got that feeling of the air circulating. So we're going to flow and move, but let that be with the breath. So for this first one, we'll just pause as we find our center, find the ground, and then we'll begin to flow and move through these salutations. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, hands come down to frame the right foot, heel toeing it around or sliding it around to modified plank, and making that undulating lower so the hips start to come down. You can look forwards, the elbows start to bend, and then belly, ribs, chest follow. So it's this beautiful way of meeting the ground. Inhale, cobra. Lift chest bone forwards and up. And exhale, downward facing dog. You can always come back through the knees, have a little stretch back, and then meet back in downward facing dog. Take one deep breath in down dog. And breathe it out through the mouth. Lunge, inhale, left foot steps through to the front. You can give it a hand through, lower right knee down, and then start to slowly rise up, reach the arms. Maybe taking the hands a little wider apart so you really notice the opening around the heart. And on an exhale, framing the left foot, forward fold, right foot steps in. Head and neck relax down. Inhaling, rising up, making that big circle like you're gathering something up. Gather up something that maybe feels a little new, a little fresh. And then exhale, hands to your heart. Take that in. Breathe in to lift up. And breathe out to forward fold. Right foot steps back for lunge this time. Step it back, lower the right knee down. Take a breath in to lift the arms up. Exhale to settle here, settle and soften between the shoulders. Another deep breath in. And as you exhale, frame left foot, and that's going to move back round for the plank. Knees down for the modification, and we can take that lovely kind of stage by stage, the thighs going down, the elbows start to bend, keep them close to your ribs for that support, belly, ribs, chest. Breathe in, lift up, cobra. Get a sense of stretching your lower ribs forwards. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. You can always stretch the hips back for a moment if you like. Like allow a little bit of fluidity in your practice. One deep breath here. And a breath out. Lunge, inhale, right foot steps through to the front. You can give it a hand through or heel toe it around. Lower left knee as you inhale to rise, lift the arms. Exhale. Soften around the face as you take that breath in. And press down through the feet as you breathe out. So that feeling of filling yourself up on the inhale, this kind of brightening sensation. And then letting go and grounding and connecting on your exhale. Framing the right foot, forward fold. So we bring left foot in to join the right. Folding down. And inhaling to rise up. Lifting arms above the head. And exhale, hands into prayer, down to your heart. Taking a little moment here between these salutations, a moment of pause. And taking a little baby tree pose. So if you shift the weight onto your left foot and hands at prayer at your chest, and just drop the gaze down and find something to focus on, a point on the floor. So it's called your drishti, your focus point. Shifting weight onto the left foot, start to bend the right knee and feel that support through the left leg. And then turn the right thigh out and press the foot to the ankle or the shin. Or you might take hold of the foot and place it into the thigh, but there's not one that's better than the other, it's just where you're at. And on every inhale, lift chest bone upwards. And on every exhale, tuck your pubic bone slightly upwards to your chest bone. That's going to help you find a bit of centering to be here in the tree pose. And allowing anything that is arising to just be there. Whether that is wobbling or the mind feeling busy. Soft, steady breaths. Press the hands inwards into each other to feel this sense of centering. And as you exhale, release the right foot. Maybe having a little shake out of the left leg. Ooh. And then we'll take that to the other side. So bring the hands back to prayer, or if you prefer, might feel more supportive on your hips to begin with. Shifting the weight onto the right foot. Drop the gaze down onto the floor on one thing, or perhaps directly ahead of you. It's also an option. And then start to hover the left foot just off the floor, turning the left thigh outwards and press the foot to the ankle, just inside, or maybe the shin, or maybe taking hold of the foot and placing it to the inner thigh if that's available. And obviously you're at home, if you've got a wall, even better. You can use the support of the wall. But wherever you are, maybe a clenching of the right toes to the floor. A pressing of the hands inwards and a lifting of your chest bone as you breathe in. As you breathe out, curl the pubic bone up towards your chest bone. So you're tucking slightly. And then tend to your breath. Making the inhale soft and smooth, and the exhale to anchor you and feel through that right foot. And slowly releasing from the tree. Well done, shaking the right leg out a little bit. That standing leg always gets a proper burning sensation in it the longer we stay. So just noticing those sensations, having a little shift of the hips from side to side, maybe round in circles in one direction and then the other. Whew. Now breathe in to reach the arms back up above the head and breathe out to forward fold. Inhale halfway, find the lengthening in the spine, flat back. Tuck chin ever so slightly. And as you exhale, hands down to support you as you move back to the modified plank, the knees coming down, taking that really nice step-by-step lowering, so the thighs coming down, look forwards, keep elbows tucked into the ribs and let the belly come down, the ribs come down, the chest. Breathing into cobra. Lifting chest bone up and then breathing out back to downward facing dog. You could take a little stretch out in between. And eventually meeting back in down dog when you're ready. Making some movements, or perhaps you prefer stillness. Head and neck really relaxed here and feeling the points at which your body is making connection with the ground. The palms of the hands, the balls of the feet. Left and right, right and left. So we'll come into another lunge, this time a high lunge. So inhale, left foot steps through, or you could bring it around to the side or give it a hand around with your hand, your hand even. And let's just pay attention to the foundations here. So the left ankle right underneath the left knee. The back knee is raised if that's okay for you. If it gets a bit much, you can lower it down. But depending on the length of your legs, you might have space to kind of shuffle the right foot back a little bit. So you're deepening this. Toes curled under, so you're on the ball of the back foot. One hand coming to the left thigh, so that you use your thigh for support to come up. So we come into, it's quite a deep lunge, this one. The back knee is lifted if that's okay for you. And the focus here is to start feeling steady from the ground up. So we press through the sole of the left foot, press through the heel of the back foot. And maybe if you have space, you might be able to lower the hips down just a touch. Arms could go up if you're feeling steady. And just feel the energy of this pose. So maybe taking the arms a little wider, looking directly ahead of you. Feeling open across the chest, across the heart, and imagining this is how you're meeting the world. Steady at your foundation, open at the heart. Strong, steady breaths. On an exhale, burning in the legs. On an exhale, framing the left foot. Let's find some kind of relief in that front leg. So bring the back foot in a little bit. We'll come into a pyramid. So we'll extend the front leg a little bit and get some space circulating up and down the legs. You could use blocks. You could be on your fingers, depends on the length of your arms. Pyramid pose, either staying slightly lifted here or you could choose to fold down. Let the head and neck relax if you're folded. On an inhale, looking forwards and hands to support you, we'll take the left leg back and come back into downward facing dog. Pedaling, and the feet just a release in the back of the legs there. And finding stillness once more, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, maybe a big sigh. Coming into that high lunge, inhale, right foot steps through this time. You could give it a hand through or heel toe it around, and let's work from the ground up. The right ankle directly underneath the right knee. Maybe you've got space to shuffle the left foot back and take up more space for a deeper lunge. Coming up here, we can use the hands on the right thigh to lift up. Noticing differences from one side to the other. Maybe feeling the hands could stay on the thigh, and that might be more than enough. And if it's really too much, you can lower that left knee down at any time. If you feel steady and it feels okay, we could lift the arms and get that same feeling, taking the hands a little wider apart from each other to open across the chest. Look directly ahead of you. And then breathe into that space with the heart open. Many of the asanas in yoga, the physical poses, do kind of teach us how to meet the world. So heart open, walls down. And people feel you in a different way. On an exhale, slowly making your way back down to the ground. The hands find the ground, or maybe some blocks. For pyramid, stepping back foot in a little bit. Extension in the front leg and the back leg. And on an inhale, looking forwards, and we'll step the left foot in to the front to join the right and forward fold, taking the feet much wider apart and finding a ragdoll here. So we could bend the knees a lot. Upper body folding down, maybe taking hold of opposite elbows, having a little sway. And releasing the hands, using hands to support you. Turn the toes outwards. You face forwards here. Turn the toes outwards. Bring the heels in. And we come down to a malasana squat. So a yogi squat. And you might have something underneath you. You could place blocks or cushions if the tailbone doesn't want to come down so far. So we start to bend the knees. And drop your tailbone down. As I say, you could drop something down underneath. So you're sitting on something. And then hands into prayer. Use your elbows, your upper arms, to press the thighs away from you. So you use them to create that little bit of resistance. And feel the hands pressing inwards. Ending with this very grounding pose. Tailbone energetically pointing down towards the earth. And then sensing your spine coming up through your neck. And then up and out of the top of your head, the crown of your head, lifting up slightly. From here, we're going to make our way down. So support yourself to do that. Maybe one hand in front, one hand behind, and lowering yourself down and coming down onto your back. You can support yourself as you come down with one forearm and then the other. Laying down on your back and coming into a bridge. So you could do this full bridge with no block or support. If you feel like you want something a little more restorative, then you can place one block on its tall edge under your lower back, or maybe on the long thin edge, depending on the space that you've got and how your back's feeling. So either full bridge, so we'll all go up together, lifting, curling tailbone up, and then keep lifting the hips. And at this point, if you want to slide a block underneath, come onto the balls of your feet and place the block underneath that flat part of your lower back. Or if you're in full bridge, then keep the hips lifted. Press the ground away through the feet. That makes a real difference. So you're pressing through the feet. Feel the lift in the hips. Arms alongside your body. And breathing here into the whole of the front of your body. Whether you're on the block or whether you're in full bridge. And get some space around the ribs and the diaphragm as you breathe in. More air into the lower part of your lungs. On an inhale, if you're on the block, lift up and remove the block. And on an exhale, slowly come down bit by bit, the upper back, the mid back, lower back, and tailbone. Taking the feet as wide as the mat now. Take a moment to feel the whole of your back connecting with the ground. Let everything soften down. And feel the rise and fall of your belly. Your awareness around the navel center, noticing how on the inhale, your navel, your belly button rises up. And on the exhale, sinks back down. Back down towards your spine and your sacrum. drop the knees over to the left. So the feet are really wide for this, so you've got space. Take the knees over to the left. So a little twist. And then lift the left foot and place the ankle on the other side of the right thigh, so just above the knee, flexing the left foot, and then allow the weight of the left leg, so sort of let the left thigh drop out to the side. And we create space around the right hip and the glute and the outside of the thigh. I love this stretch because I feel like it's maybe one of the only ways that I really access that space around the outside of my hip in this particular way. So when I come into this stretch, it's almost like this invitation to place the intention around my breath, to explore this space that sometimes feels a little bit forgotten. Removing the left foot and placing it back to the outer edge, and then slowly bring the knees back to the center. Pause there with the lower back flat against the ground. Belly rising and falling for a moment. And then rock the knees over to the right. Lifting the right foot this time and placing the ankle on the other side of the left thigh, just above the knee. Flexing right foot and let the right thigh drop outwards. And be curious about the sensations around the outer part of the left hip and the outer part of the left thigh. The navel, the belly button, getting this feeling of gently opening on the inhale and rising up. And then closing and sinking back down on the exhale. See if you can soften your shoulders against the ground just a fraction more. And then gently lift the right foot off, place it back to the edge of the mat, and slowly let the knees come back to the center. Lift the feet off and take a happy baby. The hands behind the thighs, or maybe reaching for the outer edges of the feet. Or you could hook the index finger and middle finger around your big toes. So you might have a bit of a stretch in the toe joint. Another way to tap into the air element is through sound. So we can hum with the breath, we can sigh, we can be vocal. So anything like humming, chanting, singing, it's all tuning into the air element. And humming and chanting and singing has this really calming effect on our bodies, on our nervous systems. Releasing from the thighs or the feet and hugging your knees into your chest. Really invite yourself into Shavasana for this practice. So stretching the legs out, taking a Shavasana that really supports how you're feeling. So whether you're lying on your back, or perhaps lying on the back with the knees bent and then let them rest inwards against each other. That can feel really good for the lower back if it's feeling a little tweaky. Or you could take a side lying Shavasana, something I've been exploring myself. Something to put under the head. Come into Shavasana, feel the ground. Returning to the intention and focus around the class of the air element. Perhaps this feeling that we've shifted some stagnation, almost like a breath of fresh air, like opening the windows for the first time in spring, hanging out the sheets on the line and watching them blow in the breeze. That kind of energy. Feel a sense of softness come over your whole body, from your toes, spreading up your feet to ankles, from the ankles spreading up to the knees coming up the thighs, to the hips, and this softness making its way up through your belly, through the ribs, up through the lungs, and spreading out down the arms, upper arms to the elbows, elbows to wrists, the wrists down the hands and all the way down the fingers, right down to the tips. Coming back up from the fingers to the wrists to the elbows, elbows to the shoulders. And then feel this softness spread across your heart center, right into the center of that space, where you might visualize a single flame. And feel the warmth of the flame in the center of your heart start spreading and coming up through the throat and up into the head, behind the eyes, and up to the whole of the top of your head, the entire crown of your head. Full body softness. And beginning to bring some awareness back to your body, the feel of the ground underneath those parts of the body making connection. The support, the stability that the ground offers you. And begin to softly deepen your breath. And if you're lying on your back, maybe turning the head over one side as if you're looking over your shoulder, and then over to the other side. Making some little movements in your fingers and your toes. And if you're lying on your back in your own time, bring the knees into your chest, hugging them in and rolling over to one side. And then using your hands to support you as you come up to a seat to close the practice together. Bringing the hands to Anjali prayer mudra, resting the thumbs to your heart space. And we'll finish with one Om, so this primordial sound, tapping into the air element. So let all the breath out. Close your mouth, take a deep breath in through the nose. Noticing the echo of the sound. And then bow your head to your hands in gratitude for your practice. The sacred in me honours the sacred in each and every one of you. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day or your evening if you were here live or on replay. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let me just stop that recording.